What's up, guys? We're back. Another episode here of Card Talk Canada, and this one's a special one. Coleman, where are you right now?
Right now, I am in my hotel room at the National, and we are after preview night. So, preview night was tonight, Wednesday. It was an absolute pleasure to be in the building, to kind of get boots on the ground and to get the first look at the National for the year. But yeah, it was a crazy day so far.
Have you been to the National before? I don't know if I've ever asked you that.
No, this will be my first time attending and kind of walking. So it's a great experience and it's a great time to kind of put faces to names or sorry, names to faces and really see everything that there is within the hobby because there's so much that we don't get the opportunity to see up in Canada, and there's so much of a different angle or different market here in the U.S. And it's just great to see all the different collectors coming together under one roof and kind of under one goal. And it was so great to meet so many people today and just kind of interact with everyone.
So, Coleman, what time did the day start for you? I know it's like a pretty long travel for us to get to Chicago. So, how'd that look for you?
Yeah, so the morning started at woke up at 3 a.m. Took a Uber to the airport, hopped on a plane at 6, got here around 7 Chicago time. I got some food, got into the hotel, started walking around doing deals, started kind of visiting different hotels and different trade areas. And then by 2:30, 3 o'clock, I was in the National, kind of walking around and trying to take advantage of early access and all the different deals that are there to be held. But yeah, it was crazy the sheer amount of people that were funneling through the National at one time, and just seeing everyone today. I can't wait for tomorrow, and I can't wait for what the rest of the week has to bring.
And like whenever I'm at the expo, like I get like overwhelmed and almost overstimulated by the amount of cards and stuff that's going on. Like, how would you compare it, like expo to national, especially like on that first day?
It's even worse. I can tell you I walked around for a good 4 or 5 hours today straight, and I cannot tell you really where I've been or where I went. You know what? I'll figure that out tomorrow and have a better strategy. But you just have to start walking and kind of exploring every single corridor, little area, because there's so many different niche areas in the National that you can go to. Like even this year with the addition of Hall G, which is the upper level hall, and there's a whole new section of dealers there, so it's a really big um, kind of change to go to a show that's massive and, in a sense, in comparison to the shows that we normally attend locally in Ontario or within Canada. And I just think that day one, I was trying to get my bearings of where everything was, hit the dollar bins, try and get some good stuff. Tomorrow, I really have a game plan of what I want to do and where I want to be at certain times and try and get certain cards. So it's going to be a good day and lots of preparing, but good.
And did you go by the corporate section yet? Is there anyone who stood out who had really nice displays and showing what's new and what's coming?
Yeah, you know what? The corporate displays are something to really like. It's crazy how big they are and how elaborate they are and how much actual effort goes into setting up these corporate displays. Take a look at all, let's say, the auction houses, and they have such amazing pieces of memorabilia, sports cards, and everything that are coming up in their auctions. And even just walking through there and getting the chance to see those cards in person, getting to hold them if you wanted. It's a really great experience for collectors and people to be able to get in front of the world's most sought after and most rare, expensive, crazy, whatever it may be, like the most unique cards in the world that you can only find in one place. And that's the National.
And the Nationals in Chicago. How much Bedard was out there on the floor? The hockey guys, we got to know.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't expecting a lot of hockey at the National just because in the US, football, basketball, all the other sports are kind of king over hockey for sure. But I was surprised that there was a good amount of hockey. And yes, if people did have maybe some high end stuff laying around or something, it was Bedard. There was lots of Bedard. Lots of people who were charging lots for Bedard, and weren't really looking to wiggle on it. But lots of Bedards to be had. One I actually saw a lot of was Askarov. I don't know why, but I saw a lot of Askarov. I tried to make a play early in the day on a Future Watch Auto inscribed, something where the dealer and I were $20 apart, but maybe tomorrow I'll go back and close that deal off. But there's definitely a selection of hockey, but you have to look. You have to be searching. You have to be asking dealers if they have boxes under the table or something, because there's not a lot of it out. And that's one of my biggest takeaways from day one is make sure you're asking the dealers what hockey they have, even if it's anything, if it's a couple rows or a couple cards, because you never know what they're going to find. A guy today had one in and he pulled out a raw Leon Draisaitl exclusives out of his little back box. So
That's crazy.
he just said, "Oh, I didn't know," but yeah. So there's some crazy things to be found out there, but
So you have to tell us, have you been misbehaving or have it been kind of a scouting things out kind of day?
honestly, today was meant for scouting out. I didn't sell a card. I didn't buy a card at the show. I didn't really do much. I did some buying beforehand in the lobby of hotels, but that's about it. And tomorrow I'll be hopefully selling some stuff, buying some stuff. But today was just I just wanted to see it. Just wanted to get in there, really understand what was going on.
You got the Cap City hat on. Were any of the breakers out there on the floor today, or was it a bit too early?
No, you know what? There's a whole section of the National actually for breakers, and there are breakers that are breaking live from the National floor. And that was something cool to see, actually. You got to go up, you got to kind of stand in front of them and watch and kind of see everything they were doing, the cards that were pulled, and there was some crazy product being ripped today. And some big cards that were being pulled, some repacks, like just a mix of everything and kind of everything at all.
That's like such a nice corporate setup where they can have that like interaction and live aspect instead of just being, photos and product.
Yeah, exactly. And what's really nice actually is in the breaker section, you can actually buy or sell cards if you're a dealer. So it's kind of you get to step away from the whole buying, selling, haggling atmosphere and get into something where there's just a lot of immersive, interactive kind of things to do with the different brands, the different companies, and the different creators and that. So that was really cool to be able to walk around and see all the breakers you see online and all the different people who create content and stuff. So that was really great to see as well.
Now, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but is there a way that you could like buy into breaks there on the spot and like receive your card same day, or is it all still through whatnot?
It is still through Whatnot that you purchase the break spots and that, or whatever platform they run on. Not just Whatnot was there. There will be Fanatics Collect, or sorry, Fanatics Live, or whatever kind of streaming platform you film on. But it was really interesting to see actually how many different kind of activation games that these company had, whether it was a Plinko ball machine or it was they were actually doing today they were doing a kind of like a hobby race. So you would open up 3 packs and then you have to sleeve them and then you have to guess the grade of the card. And then it would be like whoever could do it quickest and to the most accuracy would win challenges in that. And there'll be a leaderboard in that. So that was really cool to see. So we kind of watched that for a bit and walked around and it was great to catch up with kind of people that we see in Canada. There was lots of people who I wasn't really knew that they were coming down, but it was great to see them, and it was just overall just such a great day.
And is there anything you're really looking for out on the floor, or something you're gonna loop back on?
There are a couple actually Wyatt Johnson pieces as my PC that I saw today, which I am definitely gonna loop back on. I was not expecting to see many things of his, but I saw 2 cup RPAs, a cup monumental, as well as Premier Patchtacular 1 of 1. So lots of options for sure out there, and but we'll loop back on those tomorrow and try and close a deal on them for sure.
And you talked about the Leon Draisaitl exclusive popping up out of nowhere. Were there any other big surprising cards that you saw in the wild?
There, there's too many big cards to talk about, to be honest. I took a bunch of pictures, and we're gonna get like a montage kind of out there and a reel of different stuff. But there were just absolutely incredible cards. Tons of vintage, tons of high end stuff, tons of RPAs and just everything. Like you think in the world of football and basketball and that and how expensive and high end some of those cards can get, those were all there. They were all just sitting in these showcases waiting to be bought, and people were buying them. The amount of buzz surrounding the national and the amount of buzz in there today and people purchasing, people trying to make deals and that it was great to see because the hobby seems to be going in a great direction. It seems to be that shows are picking up and they're really, these trends are really starting to push up. You're seeing all these new records in different sports and different categories and players. And I think that's just a testament to the hobby as a whole, as where it's going. It's just expanding. And I think over time, it's going to get bigger and bigger, and the markets are going to get bigger and bigger as well as more people get brought in to love the hobby that both of us have come to love.
And is the national just sports, or was there a bit of Pokemon out there too?
There was definitely a bit of Pokemon. There's a mix of everything. There's memorabilia, there's Pokemon, there was TCG, there was I don't know, there was like comics, there was magazines, there was just a wide variety of absolutely everything you could think of. And it was just crazy to see all of it and be able to like really take a peek at some cards that I never thought that I would see in person. And being able to look at them and then being able to hold them is something that I'll kind of remember for a long time.
And speaking of those cards that like leave you with that feeling of like, oh, like this is crazy to see in real life. Like, not just hockey, any sport, any card. Like, what was the card you were like starstruck at seeing in real life, or what was one of the bigger ones that you saw that you're like, damn?
Um, I'll give a couple ones, but I saw a Sidney Crosby True Cup RPA 4 color PSA 10. Um, or I believe it was PSA 10. PSA 9, 10, or 10, but it was stickered at 85,000. It's an absolute beautiful card. That's one that shocked me. I saw Wayne Gretzky PSA 8 auto 10 on the floor being sold. There's some absolutely amazing vintage baseball out there. When you think of the historic T206 series, you even get to Mickey Mantle this year, the 1951, 52, and all the way, all like the low kind of 50s, 60s, and that. There's just amazing, amazing cards that they have that go for crazy amounts of money. And it was even crazier to see all the value boxes. That is what the value boxes, there are so many different opportunities to find cards in them and search through them. And I saw tons of people looking through and tons of people finding great deals on cards. So it's just there's so much to do and there's so much to look at. So it just it overwhelms you at times because your mind can be going 20 places because you're seeing so many cards you've never seen before. And it's really crazy to be able to interact and try and kind of purchase these at times because there are cards that you would never have the opportunity other than an auction or at the national, and that those are the only places that are given these opportunities. And Adrian, I'm sure like even at the national when we find hockey cards and that it's such like a joy, and I can't imagine for these people who wait all year in the US and they're looking for to come here and to be able to find specific cards. It's just it's awesome.
That's one thing I think I take for granted sometimes here in the GTA, like, and in Ontario and Montreal is like we have so many shows so frequently, and it's every weekend, 4 times a month, sometimes more. That there's some people out there that don't get to experience card shows as regularly. So sometimes it's just these bigger ones that are literally their Super Bowl straight to it. And so that's where I was like, It's crazy to think about that. Like that's like their big experience because well, one, it is incredible, but we get numb to that feeling when we see these cards all the time and we're at shows all the time. But then for someone who that's their first experience, it must be kid in a candy store, just a dream.
It's definitely it's gotta be crazy to experience it and really see it, and I couldn't imagine being a little kid and coming in and seeing it and being there with your dad or with your friends and all that because there's just so much, and there's so much space, and I'm tired from today because there was so much walking, and it was just a half day. So I can't even believe to imagine what tomorrow is gonna be like, and let alone Friday, let alone Saturday, let alone Sunday. But there's just so many experiences to do is that you wanna make sure you get to all of them.
Yeah, I think Friday's gonna be pretty epic. Once people are done work for the week and being in attendance, and the hockey specific trade night should be pretty banging on the Friday night there. What are you most excited for to go after for the next 3 days? And like going back to last episode was our tips and tricks. Is there anything that we might have missed that you've thought of now while you're there?
Bring more cash than you think you'll need. Cash is a hot commodity at the National, and tons of people are looking for it, tons of people want it, and, there's always opportunities with it. Yeah, honestly, I think as of now, everything we covered was great, but I think the most important thing is experience the National the way you want to experience it and be able to create your own plan. And whether that's digging through value boxes for cards, go do that. Whether you want to go and meet all your favorite breakers and content creators and that, go experience that. If you want to get autographs and that, there's so many different things for each different type of collector. And I think that it's a great way to come into a space that maybe if you're new to the hobby and you want to really dive deep in and get a full look into it, coming to the National is something that I would say you have to experience and make sure it's done right. Make sure you're all prepared. And as we talked about, Adrian, we talked about all the prepping that goes into it and everything that goes into just getting ready. And I think that when I was talking to dealers today and looking at some of the inventory they brought, when I tell like there are dealers who have tables and tables with value boxes, and I couldn't imagine how long it took them to prepare this. And the margins must be thin, or they must not be making much money off of it, but they do it because they love it, and it's great to see so many people come back and back year after year. And there was people they were doing deals, and they said, "Oh, this was our 13th year in a row doing a deal." And that's just something that at our local shows you wouldn't hear of. So it's a different type of show, and it's a real um, big event, but it's something that I suggest for all collectors if you have the opportunity to get to at least one national and experience it with some friends and some families, whoever, or by yourself. And it's just as fun by yourself as well because you know what, so many people you're able to meet and you're able to chat with and create relationships.
Yeah, I've been experiencing the FOMO from here. I'm missing out so bad that I'm definitely coming with you next year. That's for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of next year, I know they're going to have the vote. I'm not sure whether it's sometime during the show they will be having the vote on where the national is next year. Um, so the dealers get to all vote on that, and then from there, I have been hearing some rumors of different places. The one that keeps popping up is Atlanta. I keep hearing. So I don't know if that's a possibility, but some people were talking about that as a heavy option today. So that could be a for sure option.
That would be quite something moving it down there, but a little farther for us to get to. But I I missed out so bad I'd make the trip.
Road trip, you'd have to.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps it up for us today. Short and sweet episode, but it's 11 o'clock Eastern time, and you've been on your feet all day, going, 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 and you got 3 more big days ahead of you. Any other last minute tips for the crew out there?
No, I think again, if anyone is attending the national, please reach out to us, send us a DM or something. We'd love to meet up with you, say hi, come get some stickers from us or something. Or if you have any cards that you want to sell to us or anything, please reach out to either of us on Instagram or Card Talk Canada's Instagram, and we will respond. And I will travel to you at the national and buy your cards with cash. Another thing is tomorrow or for Friday night's hockey card trade night, tickets will be available at GP's booth. So I'd say go see Grant for that and talk to him, and he'll give you a ticket for that event. But that should be a great event on Friday.
Yeah, I need you to keep sending me pictures nonstop all day for the next 3 days, and so I can keep experiencing it through you. But I hope everyone enjoyed this quick but sweet episode to get a sneak peek at what's going on the floor at the National.
Thank you guys. Have a great one.